Hello, my loves, and welcome to another coffee talk. It's good to see you. I, yeah, I chose to come online with another one of these, and actually, I decided that I want to make this like a constant format. Um, I have the aim right now to put out a coffee talk and another video every week. And let's see how I can live up to my goals. But I said it with this announcement, so put it out there. Yeah, it was hard to decide on what I want to talk about today in this coffee talk. There's a lot going on, and there are like a million thoughts in my head and a million things I could talk about. Um, so in the end, I decided to go with um, what is maybe the common denominator of all the things I talked like I thought had in my head, and that was when we go through a death rebirth process. And I talked about this in my last video. How honoring a life death life cycle and honoring the death part of the life death life cycle is very important. And so there is one aspect in there when it comes to the topic of death, and it doesn't really matter if it's literal death or if it's ego death, the death of an old identity, the death of a period in your life. It's fucking messy. I hate to say it, like and I can't say it in any other way than that. It is fucking messy. And many of us are having a hard time dealing with mess. And even more so, the world out there has a hard time dealing with mess. I'm just pulling the mic a little closer. I just thought you're so far away. I hope you can still hear me. And to be honest, I think right now I'm going through the biggest rebirth in my entire life. It's asking not just a lot from me, but literally everything. Really, like literally everything. And it is a rebirth that, for one, is huge, but it's in many ways almost invisible because it's so internal, and it's a process that has been going on for quite a while, but because it was so internal and it was so much in a lot of it happened in a hermit phase, so people didn't really see it. And those of you who've been following my channel, you know that I've been I've been just uprooting my entire life. I had to move out of my apartment. I put all my stuff in storage and packed my bags and traveled for 2 months in Italy, and now I'm back in my hometown, in my home country, Germany. And there is not really a plan. There is not really anything I could do or say that would create a sense of certainty for myself or for others. And so now this this death rebirth cycle of leaving behind the old and stepping into the new is becoming more and more clear also to the outside world. And as long as I was traveling for those 2 months, people could tell themselves that that's just a phase. But now, as I don't really show any intention of find the next apartment and settle down and get a stupid job already and do what everyone else is doing. It's challenging. It's challenging for people in my life because they care about me. Yes, because they care about me, and because it's a degree of uncertainty that is hard to bear. It's hard to cope with. And for me, it's like I knew that that was coming. I've been prepared for this, not just for months, but for years. I've been walking this path. I've been walking towards this rebirth for years. And yes, I've been telling people about it, like partly, but it's one thing if you talk about those things in an abstract way, and I've not been sharing everything because if you walk a spiritual path like I do, if you have mystical experiences, if you are like a channel, you tap into spaces that are not available for others. And it's not just that I walk like a spiritual path, but I've been initiated in several different archetypes. I've been initiated into the archetype of the shaman, of the mystic, and also the magician, you could say, or the more magical things. And it's like all of these things are just not something that are common in this world, in our society that we live in. And yeah, oh yes, I forgot the high priestess as well. Like there's so many different archetypes that came alive inside of me, and that I am asked to somehow embody and to somehow work with. But like I say, this is not something that you find in like your common CV. And this is not a common path for people to walk. So it's hard to talk about those things and to share those things. But really, like you don't have to be on that kind of path. Not as radically as I am. Maybe you are. Maybe you are. Did you just hear that? That was my stomach growling. I didn't have breakfast yet. I wanted to come on with a message before I ate something. Apparently, I'm hungry. Okay, sorry. So you don't have to be as radical as that. But like it's enough to just be different. It's always enough to just be different, that people don't get what you're doing. And so those initiations that happened internally, they happened in a safe space of this hermit mode. I was still out in the outside world. I was still meeting people. I was still helping my family out with different things. I was still present in their lives. But in many ways, they only saw a fraction of what was actually going on. And now all the work that I've been doing is coming to light. And like I said, it's a fucking mess. And it's becoming clear now that what I've been talking about all this time, that I had a spiritual awakening and that I'm like having these initiations and that I'm like becoming someone different, someone new, it was okay for them as long as I was just talking about it. And it didn't really look like not much has changed. But now with all those changes happening and all those insecurities that are part of that, um, it's messing with the order of things. It's messing with what they thought they knew, or what their idea about like who I am, how life is supposed to be, is. And so this is like this is a huge part of those rebirths. Because right now I was thinking about, because I wanted to talk about why this is so messy. And I will get to that, or like, actually, I wanted to talk about why it's so important that we talk about it, that it's messy. And I get to that. But I'm realizing now that like part of the challenge with that is the social expectations that are there, that we are met with in the outside world. And because everybody knew that those kind of things are just the way they are, and if everyone knew that that there are such things as life, death, life cycles, and that a rebirth is messy, people would make space for that. People would know, like, oh, okay, so you're going through that phase, and this is just what it is, and we have structures and knowledge and wisdom in place, and support to help you through that. But that's just not the reality, because this is not the world we're living in. So this is creating like a huge challenge, and a lot of pressure. And yeah, it's making something that is already hard and it can feel like it's really asking everything of you and more. Because this and more is coming from the outside world and those social expectations. So I guess this is why I wanted to touch on it, because this is also a huge part why we probably resist it so much in so many ways. Um, oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So because that this thing of like I'm different and I'm going through something that other people cannot really relate to. But also this, I'm choosing to be different. I'm choosing to not trying to fit in. it's a breaking out of the system, and the system, of course, doesn't want to let you go. And so this is, you could say, a protection mechanism that is put in place by the system itself in order to prevent people from breaking out of it. So yeah, those are the things that are hard on top of it. But let's talk about the messy part. Let's talk about that this is just not pretty, because it always sounds so nice. It sounds so nice, like, I'm walking through a rebirth, and I'm the phoenix, and I'm rising up from the fire, and it sounds so nice. It sounds so romantic, but it's not. It's chaos. It's like you have to be taken apart. Like you have to, sometimes to me, it feels like I'm just like blown into all those pieces, and they're just like lying there, lying there on the floor. And now I have to gather them and put them back together, and I have to decide what to keep and what not. And there's so many things that I want to keep where my soul, life, my guiding forces are saying like, no, you can't keep that. You can't keep that. That has to go. And you don't always understand why, or it's frightening that you cannot keep it, and then you want to hold on to it, and it will be taken from you. If it's not meant to be there, it will be taken from you. And those things hurt, and they are painful, and they scare you, because usually they gave you security, and that's the reason why you want to hold on to it. But you cannot do that if you want to step into that new version of you, because you can't take the old bullshit with you. And really, in my opinion, and I did a similar video before on this channel where I talked about that we're not talking enough about the pain on this journey, the pain of a spiritual awakening, the pain of the healing process, that everyone is always talking about the light. And it was interesting because that video, it created, like, I think those were the most, like, my channel is still growing, and it hasn't been growing lately, but that's another story. It also has been in the death rebirth. So, but yeah, like the comments under that video, they were, I think I got the most comments ever on this video. And it's a similar thing with that death rebirth topic. It's like I say, everyone is talking about like how we are rising up as that phoenix, and we are stepping into the light, and like, yes, and that's beautiful. Those are beautiful images, but the phoenix is reborn through the fire, and fire burns. It burns. And it's leaving behind ashes. So, what does it actually mean to come back from the ashes, you're covered in black stuff. You don't look nice and like glowing and beautiful when you just like come out of a bunch of ashes. And the thing is, everyone who went through, like consciously went through one of those death rebirth processes, knows that this is also where you find the gold, and that is where that phoenix from the ashes image is coming from. Because yes, of course, it's true. Like you're reborn, and you are coming out of it as a better version, hopefully. But yeah, if you allow that process to take place, you are coming out of it as a better version. But I just keep repeating myself, but it's not pretty. It's not. And I think that we are not doing us any favors if we keep proclaiming those images of those we're stepping into the light and we are rising as the phoenix, and like I said, not talk about the pain that's in there. I was just thinking, I feel like I'm running in circles, and that is actually what this is trying to tell us. Like if we don't accept the pain in there, if we don't embrace this, like we are getting trapped, because in order to be really reborn, we have to walk through the pain. We have to embrace the messiness. We have to embrace the chaos. And we have to let ourselves be stripped away of everything and trust that we will be reborn, and that there will be a new version of us, that we will be put back together. But in order to be able to do that, we have to be willing to let go. And yeah, there have been things happening this week, and maybe I will talk about that at one point. Like I said, it's been pretty much like the most challenging week of my life, maybe even. But I've been surprised what I could actually take, like how much I could actually take and still be here and still show up, even on this channel and my other channel. How I could ask for grace and still find my own truth in all of this and not cave, and not, because there are temptations to go back where you came from and to do what maybe society is telling us what we need to do, what others are telling us is the right choice, when we actually know that it's not, that we have to do something differently. Um, and yeah, I talked about that in the other message, in the other coffee talk, I think. Yes, to walk this path with grace, and to ask for grace, and to try to find grace in the death, the rebirth, in death. And that doesn't mean that it has to look pretty. It doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean that it cannot be messy. It means that you, like, within all the mess, within all the chaos, that you ask for grace and just see, how can I deal with that in the most graceful way that is available to me right now. Um, and to look for help, to open up your heart, because it's exactly in those moments that you can find help and support by others, and you can meet others in a way that is bringing you closer together. And maybe you don't have someone to do that with. And I think that is part of the reason why I'm sitting here and sharing this stuff, because I like to think that I know that I'm not the only one who's experiencing that. And so I hope that whoever needs to hear it hears it and finds it, and maybe feels like, oh wow, there's a stranger, maybe even sitting on the other end of the world, and rambling about this stuff with her coffee in hand. Um, yeah, that was one of the things that I got over and over and over again, was this trust that there is like this community out there, that there are people out there who actually do understand. Um, and it's true. It's true. There are people out there who actually do understand. And what I also realized was that even the people who maybe initially don't understand, in my case, they're coming around when they see that I stand in my power, that I stand in, honestly, in whatever is going on right now. And I don't have to share everything, I don't have to share all the details, what is happening with them, but just being honest about the process, and just being honest about, hey, yeah, I know I am a fucking mess right now. That's who I am. That's what is present right now, and it's not going to change. So I would love for you to be there with me or for me, and I would love for you to be there on the other side. But right now, this is what's here. And so I think that what is, to bring like this whole topic back around with, like, why it's so hard for other people to let us go through that, and why it's so uncomfortable for them, is because by us facing our own messiness, by us facing our own pain, by us doing that, walking that path, and being like unapologetically about it, and embracing our imperfectness, and all of that, we are holding up a mirror for other people. We are showing them that we are not afraid to do that, and to face those shadows and the pain and those uncertainties, and it's showing them where they themselves are not comfortable at looking at their own pain and their own mess, and where they're probably trying to control and keeping up old structures that are maybe not serving them either, or where they are hiding from their own pain and their own uncertainties. And this is very, very uncomfortable for other people. Um, and I also I do see that with the challenge. I mean, like I said in that other video, that was the one where I got like the most comments on, and I mean, I am tuned in all the time, and I do feel what's going on in the collective. And even if not everyone, there were not many comments that actually voiced it, but I did feel the backlash in like the energy, and I did feel the resistance. And I also got a few reactions, also verbalized, where I could tell, like, okay, you got triggered. That's okay. But yeah, you got triggered. Same thing with the video where I talked about being graceful within like a death cycle. I lost followers. I lost subscriptions over that, and I actually expected that. I wasn't surprised, because if you do talk about those topics, those taboo topics, it's making people uncomfortable, and they don't. Also in the spiritual community, not everybody wants to hear that. But if you really want to make a change, if we really want to heal, if we really want to step into the light, because yes, that's what we're aiming for, that's where we're going, that's what we want humanity to do. But look at the world out there. We are far away from everyone is stepping into the light. And we have to deal with the pain and the trauma and all the mess and the chaos in order to come out on the other side. And there will be backlash. There will be people who feel highly uncomfortable with that, and they will fight it. And this is challenging us as well. Like I said, like it's not enough that we have to deal with our own mess, but we also have to deal with all the backlash that is coming from other people, because we are challenging the system. We are challenging them, their lives. And yeah, like I said, this is why I'm sitting here and talking about this, because I want to encourage each and every one of you to do it nonetheless. To embrace those messy times, to embrace your own imperfection, because by doing that, we are allowing other people to do the same. I'm trusting, because there are very close relationships that are not very stable right now and that are challenged. And I'm trusting that by walking this path and standing up for myself and standing in my beliefs and in my truth, that I'm in the long run allowing the other person to do the same, even if right now they're still fighting it. Right now they're not able to see or do that for themselves, but I'm trusting that eventually they will. And then they can remember what they saw in me so that they can allow themselves to do the same and maybe find someone in me where they can turn to. So yeah. And like I said, I hope that whoever needs to hear that, whoever needs to find themselves held in those times that are not easy, and for whoever I can hold up that mirror, if it's like in forms of triggers, and maybe you have a bunch of reactions to what I'm just talking about. Maybe you're resisting it. Maybe you want to attack me. Maybe you cannot maybe you have to walk away. Maybe you have to leave this channel. But I'm trusting that maybe one day you just remember this and come back, maybe, or not. You don't have to come back. Maybe you remember this and think, oh, hey, that lady from Germany with her coffees and rambling about death rebirth. Like, what was that about? Maybe that is what's happening to me right now. Maybe I can allow myself to do that. And maybe it's already happening for you. And I would love that because, like I said, I think our world needs more of that. We need more of that honesty. We need more of that facing the pain and facing it together. All right, my love. I think that's it for today. It is a rather long message. So, yeah, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear where you're at, if you can relate, if you disagree, maybe, or where you're struggling with, what you're struggling with. And yeah, thanks for, if you stayed until here, thanks for being here and for being part of this. Thanks for walking that path. Thanks for facing your pain. And even if you're struggling with it, even if you feel like I'm not doing a very good job at it, like if you've made it until here, if you stuck with it, with my video, you're already doing the work. So thank you. Thanks for that. I love you. I love you all. And yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And I wish you all the best with whatever, wherever you are right now. And hopefully see you in the next video. Until then, take care, my loves. Bye.